Welcome to On the Couch with Tea. I am thrilled today, beyond thrilled, to have a very special guest with us. And his name is Ron Lacks. And he is the grandson to the immortal Henrietta Lacks. If you don't know who Henrietta Lacks is, you should know. Welcome, Ron.
Thanks for having me.
So, this has been quite a journey for you.
Yes, it
and
has.
Your family, or I should say you and your wife, making sure that the story of the family is told as it has not been told before.
Correct.
So tell me how you are related to Henrietta Lacks exactly. Is it your dad?
She's my grandmother. Lawrence is the oldest son.
Okay, and that is your father.
Correct, yes.
And as I understand it, he is the only one that has a memory of his mom.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So tell us, please, who Henrietta Lacks is, why she's so important.
Well, in 1951, she went to Johns Hopkins for cervical cancer, and they stole her cells, period. That's what they did. When they found out that her cells was the only cells that able to live outside the body, they went back after that and stole some more cells after she had passed away in the morgue. A lot of people don't know that they went back and took some cells.
I didn't realize that.
So her cells has been changing modern medicine ever since 1951. All the things they did went up in space. Was even in a nuclear bomb. Go tell me why they blew it up. I mean, it ain't like they could retrieve and find out what happened to it, right?
Right.
But polio, a whole host of AIDS, even the coronavirus.
Wow, even to this day.
To this day. And I can't imagine, years from now what her cells will accomplish.
Wow. Even when you and I are long gone.
Long gone.
Her cells will still be making miracles.
Exactly.
Wow. So I first learned of your grandmother as I was an employee of Johns Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned that there was a book written by a woman named Rebecca, and I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. It may be Skloot.
Skloot.
Skloot, okay. So Miss Skloot wrote a book, and she went in very much detail about the family history, where the family originated from, how the family lived in Turner Station. And while I found the book interesting, I also felt some kind of way about it, because I felt like here is this person that's not a family member, that has no recollection of Mrs. Lacks, coming and invading your Aunt Deborah,
mm-hmm.
as you all call her, Dale,
mm-hmm.
invading her space. There were times when I was reading where I saw that they were in the same hotel room together, and your Aunt Dale was having sort of like hive reactions because her nerves were, being disturbed because of what this young woman was asking of her, Rebecca
Mm-hmm.
Skloot. So how do you feel about that book that was written?
Well, the only part that she did well, I would say, was in what John Hopkins did. When it came to the family, it was lacking.
Mm-hmm.
That's why my suggestion is, don't let no one else tell your family story. Tell it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did read the book and seen the movie, I know it was lacking of what my family was really like. And I thought, hey, I need to straighten this out. My family history shouldn't go down like this. How they portrayed my family was totally opposite of what my family was like. Uh, my grandmother was intelligent, beautiful black woman who did not sign her name with an X. That's why I put it in my book. My aunt Deborah, lovely called Dale, she was not crazy. She was not schizophrenic. She was not paranoid. I mean, all these things, if you would have did some investigating for yourself, you'd have found this out. You know, it wasn't no mystery. Why they came to be like that, I have no idea. What was the purpose of portraying my family in that manner? Like my father, you know, my grandfather, when he first came up, he got the job at Bethlehem Steel, which was one of the best jobs a black person could get at that time.
Right.
And the whole family worked there. Mm-hmm. And then my father went on to drive trains. He was an engineer. So my family was well off.
Yeah.
You know, so when we greeted Rebecca into the family, I mean, well, not greeted, but once we opened the doors, when Dale wanted us to speak with her, you know, we told her what my parents told them what they felt was wrong in her book. And she said that was her book, and she'll write it like she wanted.
Her story.
That's her. It was her story. That's her exact words to my dad. This is my story. So that's why my dad backed out. He didn't have nothing else to say to Rebecca Skloot.
Wow. And I don't blame him. How could that be her story?
Exactly.
She's writing about someone else's family.
Exactly. It's been so many mistakes since 1951, since the cells were stolen, that it became a norm in wrongdoing to the Lacks family. It was, I mean, just like in the Wall Street Journal, it said the Lacks family finally see payday. And at the bottom of the article, it says, but the funds will go to the Rebecca Skloot Foundation. I mean, how is the Lacks family getting that, and they giving it to Rebecca Skloot Foundation?
Yeah, now you mentioned that there was a movie by HBO,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember that movie. I watched it. That was when Oprah Winfrey got the rights to the book.
She bought the
and
rights.
Decided to produce a movie.
Correct. You know.
And were some of the facts in the movie incorrect as well?
Yeah, some of the facts in the movie was, and to Oprah's credit, she said, you know, since she had bought the rights to Rebecca Skloot book, she would do the best she can in the circumstances, right? And overall, I think she cleaned up a lot that was wrong. But you know, I hope she don't take it the wrong way. That there's a difference from me bashing Oprah and trying to correct my family legacy. It's a difference.
Right, of course.
So, you know, I hope she don't take that personal because I'm trying to correct a wrong that was done to my family.
I saw you mention somewhere that Oprah and Gayle King were
The morning show.
giggling.
On the morning show when they called my aunt
about-
crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that really disturbed me. On national TV, they said that. So that's when I decided to do the book. Right then and there. I woke up that morning, I said, enough's enough. It's time for me to tell my family story.
Okay, why don't you hold that book for us for the camera so our viewers can see what it looks like. I have read the book. It is very engaging, very informative, and I enjoyed it so much that I'm going to get a copy for my mom and my son, and I would be delighted if you would sign the books for them.
It will be my pleasure.
Thank you. So I noticed in your book that you talked about going back to Clover and how much fun you all had doing Little or Nothing. And that reminds me of my family. My family comes from a very small town in Shelbyville, South Carolina, which has probably only recently been placed on the map. And almost all of us there are related. So you can't go from one house to the next without being amongst family.
Exactly.
And we did things like walk the road until dark, even after dark, even though we knew there were snakes, we knew there were foxes, we knew there were possums and all kinds of things, but we had fun just being in each other's company doing
Exactly. And you look back at that. That's rich. That's what you call rich.
Yes.
When you can look outside your door and see family members there, that's rich.
Yes.
You're not poor.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And when your family moved to Maryland, they worked at Bethlehem Steel,
Right.
and so did a lot of my family members. And that was a very rich African American community, middle class, hardworking people.
And my grandmother wanted a better education for her children. That's why she came to the city.
Mm-hmm.
Cause back then, it was limited what black people could do.
Right.
You couldn't just walk the streets and roam like you wanted to down there in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we almost had our own community. It's called Lackstown. So that was the family's community, and it was a beautiful community.
Right.
We gather at least once a year down there and have a great time.
Okay. So I noticed that you said the book by Rebecca Skloot and possibly the movie did a disservice to your family in that it sort of broke the family apart and divided the family. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
I wouldn't say the book did that. I would just say what the family have been through all these years, and we knew that time was running out. Most family time was running out, and we weren't getting anywhere. So some family members decide to, okay, I'll go ahead on and get paid for going out and speaking for this and for that, because this is the only equity that the family can get from what we're being offered.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't see a opening. They didn't see a door. They didn't see a shining light until Ben came into our lives, and we seen an opening that the Lacks family might get justice.
Okay, so before we talk about Ben, is there a number that was offered to your family that you thought was nothing in comparison to what your grandmother had donated to science?
No, there was no number.
Okay.
No, we wasn't offered anything, besides helping with the movie. They wanted to buy the rights to Henrietta Lacks, but my father was the only family member, her children, that didn't sign his rights away.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. And I'm glad he didn't.
Mm-hmm. So how did Ben come into the picture?
Like I said, a miracle in itself. The only one place that I went for a book signing was Hitchcock, Texas. And I met some great people down there. In the congregation was this gentleman, Sam. And he said, I know Ben Crump. Would you like me to introduce you? So I said, I sure would. And lo and behold, when I came back home, I got a call. And that was the start. That was the beginning of getting justice for my family.
And why do you think Ben Crump? Why do you think Ben Crump took an interest in your family story?
He read the story and he see the injustice. He said, this can't be right. These people are enriching themselves from stolen cells that's been stolen. Each pharmaceutical company have it up on their website. Yeah, these cells were still stolen from so-and-so in 1951. And they talks about it. And they still enriching themselves from a stolen property.
Because are these cells sold amongst the pharmaceutical companies?
Yes, they are. Mm-hmm.
And the family is getting what from these proceeds?
Zip. Nothing. Last year, Fisher, that pharmaceutical company that's been suing, I think they made $30 billion yet last year off of our cells.
Is the family receiving free health care?
Nope. Now, they said they would. I just had my knee replaced, and I called Dr. Ford to let him know that I needed, a knee replacement. He told me I had to contact Rebecca Skloot and ask her for permission to get it done. Basically.
That seems quite humiliating.
Yes. I mean, like she's a overseer. I mean, right then, like she is an overseer. Like I'm her slave or something, that I had to go to her and ask. And this is something that John Hopkins promised at the first Healer Symposium. That, the Lacks family don't have to worry about medical. We got them covered.
So, are you all taking suit against the pharmaceuticals and Johns Hopkins?
I don't know. My lawyer's handling that. Ben handling that. I don't know exactly how John Hopkins fit into it, but Ben said, ain't nobody exempt.
Okay. And we all know Ben is a great attorney who has been fighting for justice for the lives of African Americans' lives who have been taken by the police force.
Exactly.
So you have an awesome person on your team.
This has been a blessing. I'm telling you, 70 years we waited for this moment. And I don't want to pass this on to another generation of Laxes. This can't. I went through so much. I was depressed and I almost gave up hope. I really did. I almost gave up. I felt like giving up. I had so much against me.
Right. Now, I did read somewhere that prior to Rebecca Skloot coming in the picture, that there had been conversations about Henrietta Lacks and what had been done. So Rebecca wasn't the absolute first.
No.
Some people came around to your homes when you were a child.
Right. But she make it seems that way, like she the one that elevated Henrietta to the status. No. In 1973, Ebony, Rolling Stones, they did a story on her, and there was a whole host of other documentaries about Henrietta Lacks, The Way of the Flesh. I mean, it was widely known about her cells.
Wow. So I saw somewhere when I was looking for your book on Amazon that there was another book that had been written by another gentleman. Are you familiar?
Yeah, I ran across it the other day. Yeah, I don't pay attention to none of that stuff. They don't know the true story. They don't know the true story.
I thought, who is this now?
Yeah. They don't know the true story. So, I mean, my family, the only one that came close to getting information was Rebecca Skloot, and she just totally distorted the truth.
Mm-hmm. And I believe, from my part, I believe that she manipulated your aunt.
Exactly. I mean, she didn't even send flowers to my aunt's funeral. She didn't attend. I mean, who does that?
Right.
I mean, she promised my aunt that she wasn't going to talk about Elsie as a fool. And in a book, she put the whole conversation in there about Elsie being a fool after she promised my aunt she wouldn't do it. Who does that?
Wow.
It's in there. It's in there. And she tells on herself, yeah, I told Dale I wouldn't do it. But here it go. Here it go. Yep. You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I do. And so now here we are, 70 years to the death of your grandmother, and things are finally being done. I saw that there were some speaking engagements on overseas somewhere. I believe it was in England somewhere.
Yeah. It's World Health Organization, yeah.
Okay. And who spoke at that?
My dad, my cousin, Alfred Carter, and Lawrence Lacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then I read that there was some something else being taking place at a university in Britain or something like that?
I don't know about that one.
Okay.
They give out plaques. We've been getting plaques all. We've been getting plaques for years. It's time to stop giving us plaque and give us what we deserve.
Exactly.
Period. Yeah.
Exactly. Because when I first heard about it, I said these people ought to at least have free health care insurance. I mean, that's the very least.
Yeah.
In addition to some type of monetary compensation, because these people, these pharmaceutical companies, and I can't believe that Johns Hopkins didn't make a profit some way, somehow.
You know they did.
Yeah,
It's going to take Ben and Chris Siegel to uncover all that. I mean, to find out what really is going on. They can say one thing and totally do another. So we'll find out once everything come to light.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been, like I said, a thrill because I have been anxious to talk to a family member since I read that book by Miss Glute. And finished your book about 4 days ago. And I did not want it to end.
I got a part 2 coming.
Okay.
It's a part 2. I'm going to get more in depth on things too.
Okay.
Because it's such an amazing story. Here it is, just the only only human being on Earth that's cells are able to do that. And that's saying a lot. It's time to give credit to Black people.
Absolutely.
For their contributions.
I can't help but wonder why her cells were the cells to do this when they had been looking for cells to do this.
Right.
For years prior to that, they had been testing animals.
Right.
And so you have a very rich legacy.
Exactly.
And should be very proud.
Exactly. And I am. So that's why anyone should have took this woman's legacy and at least told the truth about it. I mean, that's what baffles me. It don't take much of an effort to tell the truth about her family and how they was raised and whatnot. Because it's a good story and one that I cherish. That's why I had to come out with Henrietta Lacks' Untold Story.
Yeah,
something that they didn't say. Yes,
should. I have written or actually recorded, directed, and produced a small documentary about my family when my grandmother was probably in her 80s. I interviewed her and her brother. And like I said, our background, our family history, it is similar. And, the way of a small town family that owned stores, owned lots of property. Everyone around you was family. That brings me to, didn't your dad own a meat market of some type?
Yes, Lax Meats down Northeast Market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw the picture of the boat. The boat had a kitchen and
oh man, we enjoyed that boat.
And yeah. I mean, how many quote unquote poor people can own a meat market and a 2-level boat?
Yeah.
And Miss Luke just painted the picture of you all just being so bad off.
Exactly. And for the record, my father wouldn't know a frying pan from a petri dish.
Not a cooker.
No. My mama wouldn't allow them in the kitchen. Get out of here, Lawrence. It's all good.
Well, thanks to your mom and your dad and your wife and you, of course, for pushing this further along than it's ever been pushed before.
My mom's had a stroke.
Yes.
Right.
That.
And I get emotional when I talk about her because she was the backbone of the family. See, they betrayed my mom's almost spot on. That one character in that movie was Barbette that was spot on almost.
So your mom is Bobette.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, she's a feisty woman. And every day I walk into that room, I know that I'm doing that for her, you know. She got I got one of them old medical beds. She could do better,
Right.
you know, with the medical care. So, I mean, I could use help doing the things that I'm doing for my mom. I had her for 10 years now. 10.
Okay. How many siblings do you have?
I have my brother Lawrence and my sister LaDonna.
Okay. All right. So, but you're doing this all by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, it happens. I'm not gonna complain about. I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm not.
And your mom deserves the best, and I'm sure.
And
you're
she's
doing
getting
the very
that too.
best that you can.
She getting that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, is there anything that I haven't touched on that you want our viewers to know?
No, you about hit it all. You got me saying some things that I'm trying to, you know, be diplomatic about things, because it's not about Oprah, it's not about Rebecca. It's about changing my family's legacy to what it should be.
Okay. And you are doing that.
Thank you.
And I can't wait till your second book.
All righty.
And I will be following what goes on with the suit, because I just have a vested interest in Mrs. Lacks.
All righty. Sounds good.
Okay. Well, thank you. We are drinking Bigelow tea today. Ron has the green tea, and I have the chamomile. So we are hoping that Bigelow is happy about us drinking their brand of tea. And until the next episode, thank you for joining us at On the Couch with Tea. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, everyone.